I hate moving. Hey all, and welcome back to a new video. Sorry I haven't uploaded the past 2 weeks. The first week I ended up getting sick and I just didn't do anything. I didn't want to leave bed. My sinuses were bad. And then last week I had absolutely no energy, and I don't know why, but I had no mental or physical energy. So I'm back this week, and sorry for the hair. I just got out of the shower, and I know if I don't film this now, I'm not going to film it, just because I am in the middle of moving, and I hate moving. This will be my last video in this apartment, unfortunately. This will be the last time you see this wall. I film in my dining room, by the way, if you don't know. So yeah, this will be the last time you will see this. I won't be uploading next week. I will hopefully upload the following week on the 28th of June, but I don't know yet. I don't know how moving week will go. So we will see, but I do have to say a big thank you to all of you who watched my last video. I was in actual tears seeing the number of views that I normally get in a week or two time period being reached within like 3 days. It literally blew my mind. That, coupled with the warm welcomes into the ADHD club that I received, I literally cannot put the feeling into words. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's time to get into the video. Now, since I did tell my story and a very brief overview of some of the struggles I have faced in my childhood years, and definitely this past school year, I thought it would be a good idea to share the current struggles that I am learning how to manage that relate to my ADHD. Like I said in my last video, my goal in sharing my experience with ADHD is to help those that may have had it or have been diagnosed not feel so alone, and to help educate those without it on just how frustrating having ADHD can be and the difficulties that come from it. One of my main struggles right now is falling asleep at a decent hour and then waking up at a decent hour.
Hi, future Jesselyn here, recording on a shitty microphone while her computer is trying to take off like an airplane in the background. But I thought it would be fun to mention that I am currently going on maybe 3 hours of sleep within the past roughly 30 hours. Which is super fun and dandy, and I just thought that would be a fun fact to further include into this video, besides all the other facts that I've included. Yay!
One of the many fun things that can come from ADHD is insomnia. Now, not everyone with ADHD also has insomnia, but many do, including myself. I've always struggled since I was a kid falling asleep when I was supposed to, even if I was extremely tired. I remember when I was little, I would refuse nap time and continue playing with my Barbies until the exhaustion would take over and I would just plop asleep on the carpet. Now as an adult, I struggle with, well, I've always struggled with doing this, but it's been, now that I know, turning my brain off so that I can actually, fall asleep. I tend to have conversations with myself or imagine different scenarios of past conversations that could have happened, and sometimes I even come up with ideas for future YouTube videos. Melatonin does not help me, nor does it help many others with ADHD. I do not know the data behind this or anything, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's about 50-50 with ADHD individuals on whether or not melatonin actually helps them or not. I am not a medical professional, and this is just by what I have seen in the community. I could be completely wrong. But I do know that I struggle with sleep, and I am trying to work on it. My most recent issue that I had was on June 10th. I did not fall asleep. I only slept between June 10th and June 11th. I only slept 3 hours. And then I drove my cat to the vet. And then I couldn't fall asleep again until roughly 9:30 on June 12th. So I went, I would assume like almost 40-ish, probably close to 40-ish hours. I didn't do the math. Without sleep. Or I think I went like, I haven't done the math, but I think I went like 40-ish hours with only like 3 hours of sleep, which isn't good. I just literally could not turn my brain off long enough for me to actually fall asleep. So that was an issue. It still is an issue. So, but I am hoping that by the start of fall semester, me and sleep will have a much better relationship and I won't have as many issues as I have had in probably the past year. Another struggle I'm facing is focusing on the right things. Now, I am on medication for my ADHD, which does help quiet my brain enough to focus during the day, but it doesn't help with focusing on the right things. For example, I can focus on a Netflix series much longer on medication than without it, but what I really need to be focusing on more is packing. Since, like I said, I move out of my apartment in like a week, and of course, I need to be editing YouTube videos. The sad part is, I find myself focused on the wrong things, like Netflix, more than the things I really do need to focus on. It's really annoying and frustrating, and it is something I'm trying to learn to notice beforehand so that I can stop myself from doing stuff that I don't need to do, but that is a work in progress. I am also struggling with remembering to text or call people. Object permanence is super common for people with ADHD, and that also includes people.
Hi, future me again. So I did try to look up for about 30 seconds to see if there is any actual medical research that does back this, because I do like to look at that as well when I'm doing videos like this. But I am just too tired to look further right now. But I think this may end up being something that is known by a lot of doctors just from what they've seen and by what a lot of other ADHDers have experienced, but it may be something that just hasn't been fully researched yet, because usually with stuff like that I can find pretty quickly and I haven't been able to find anything yet. So it may be something that will be researched more in the future, but it just isn't there quite yet.
If you don't know what object permanence is, it's basically out of sight, out of mind. And lately I've been forgetting to text people back, to reach out when I really need to, and to call places that I really need to, such as for my medication. I have forgotten to call my pharmacist to refill my ADHD medication prescription for like a week now. And the only reason why I keep remembering but haven't done it is because my mom keeps reminding me on the phone. But I still haven't called. And now I am almost out of medication. I got like 4 days left. Send help. I've always struggled with object permanence my entire life, but I never really noticed it or had it really affect my life until I became an adult. I didn't truly understand it or anything until I was officially diagnosed and learned more about ADHD through research and watching other ADHD content on social media. And on top of all this, I literally cannot control my emotions. For the majority of my life, I've masked my symptoms in my ADHD, including my emotional dysregulation. Emotional dysregulation is basically where you can't control your emotions, and when you feel sad or happy or angry, they are felt with such an intensity that your body just doesn't know how to handle it. Since my diagnosis, I've felt a lot of frustration, but also a bunch of relief, since I finally have answers to why I am the way I am, and that I'm not actually a lazy or a bad person. This often leads to me crying randomly or having a conversation, airing out my frustrations to my cat, who doesn't understand anything that I'm saying, which in and of itself is frustrating. Another, I wrote out a script for this beforehand. One thing I didn't touch on in my script was my struggle with remembering to stay medicated and remembering to take a breath and remembering to take care of myself. It can get really hard in the day-to-day life in remembering to clean up after yourself and brush your teeth, take a shower, cook a meal, take out the trash, do laundry, clean the bathtub, stuff like that. And a lot of it's super mundane, and it's something that a lot of us end up overlooking so easily and just forgetting exists. But I do find myself doing a lot of things for him instead of for me. I find myself cleaning his bathroom and doing his litter box more often than cleaning my own litter box, aka toilet. And I'm so picky about his food intake and his health, and I try to feed him the best that I can, and I give him all the supplements that he needs. Meanwhile, I suck at taking vitamins, even if they're gummies. And I cook what is the most convenient because I absolutely hate cooking with every fiber of my being. I never miss his meals. I always make sure he eats. He eats 3 times a day. I eat maybe once a day if I remember, which really sucks. And like, you shouldn't be forgetting to do basic human necessities like drink water, eat food. But I do. And I know a lot of these things aren't openly discussed with a face in the community. I've definitely seen it on Reddit, on the ADHD subreddit, about people struggling with basic health and like just taking care of themselves, but being able to take care of other things amazingly. And it seems to be pretty common with people with ADHD, but Reddit is somewhat anonymous. And a lot of people will make throwaway accounts so that they can't be identified. And by the looks of it, most people admit to all of these when they are anonymous instead of with a face. And for those of you who do have ADHD, may have ADHD, or are trying to learn more about ADHD, life can be so very hard with ADHD. I don't know how many times I've cried over not being able to do the stuff that I want to do. It sucks. And for the majority of my life, I just thought I was lazy and a bad person, and I always question myself as to, why can't I just do this? I know I need to do this. I know how to do it. Why can't I just effing do it? And now I know why. These are just a few of the main issues that I've been struggling with and trying to figure out what works best for me. Now, I will never be able to fully overcome any of these since they are associated with my ADHD, which is a lifetime disorder, but I can definitely work on improving them with my doctor. If someone that you know has ADHD, the biggest advice I can give to you as a way to help support them is to have patience and understanding. If you get frustrated and annoyed with the things that they do, I can guarantee you they feel even worse about it. I'm lucky that I have a great support system with my family, but I know not everyone does. That's why I want to help those with ADHD or to help educate those without on the disorder. If you need a support system, I think it's safe to say that the ADHD community will be glad to have you join. And my inbox on any of my social media accounts are always open if you need to talk. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I will not be uploading again until June 28th at the earliest, because I am moving back home to Georgia before I move to Nashville in August. I'm super excited and nervous, but mainly excited, and I'm happy I get to take you guys along on the journey with me. So until next time, bye y'all.